YouTube vinyl community. Mark Mai here. I just got back from a trip. Went to a wedding in Florida. We ended up driving down. Spent a 2 nights in Savannah, which was a nice halfway point there. And then we drove down to the Florida Keys. Um, had the wedding. We're there 3 nights. And drove back. Um, and we stopped somewhere. To be honest, I don't even know what city it was in, but it was in Virginia. And then finished up the last leg of the trip. A little bit disappointed. I really didn't. I kind of was winging it with records as far as records go, and I found a Salvation Army in Savannah. Very slim pickings. Didn't find any record stores. I'm asking everybody: is there a record store? Is a record? Nobody knew of any record stores. Then in the Keys, um, I even looked up on the internet to find record stores before I even went. And when I went to them, they were gone. They were closed. Some of them were other shops. One was it was a record store before, but now it was a cigar shop. So I bought a cigar. But I was really disappointed. I didn't find any records on the trip at all. But prior to leaving, I had purchased some stuff on eBay, and one of the packages, it was crazy. The package went to Pennsylvania from the guy who was in Illinois that I purchased them from. It went from Illinois to Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania back to Chicago, from Chicago to Pennsylvania, like Warrensville, I think was the name of the place in Pennsylvania. Back to Chicago, back to Pennsylvania, back to Chicago. Finally, I called. I tried to get the seller to call. The first time it went back and forth, and he said he was going to, but obviously nothing happened because it made the trip to Pennsylvania and Chicago twice more before I ended up calling. And surprisingly, I thought the sender would have to make changes to the packages, but apparently, if you're a receiver, you can also call and make some changes too. So finally, they got it on the right track, but unfortunately, it came while I was in Florida. So here is that video of those items that I got while I was away. The first one here, the reason I got most of these is because I'm into Exotica and Space Age Bachelor Pad retro music like that. So this one here is called Exotica 1970. It's the Coqui Band. It's on Solid State, and this is definitely one of the must-haves. I listened to a record program, a radio program, I should say, on the internet. So it's actually a podcast, but and it's called Retro Cocktail Hour, and I had heard that one on that show. If you've never heard the show, check it out. I might put a link with this video. It's a great show, and I all the time finding new things. Then I got a set. They're all Mercuries. They're the F35D by Mercury's. Perfect presence, sound, high fidelity. And this one is called Far East Goes Western, and it's Tak Shindo. I'm so happy to have this one. This is unbelievable, especially on this sound here. This is a gatefold. There's the back and front look exactly alike, if you ask me. And then on the inside, it's got quite a bit. First on the recording process on this side, and then the album on this side. There's full descriptions of all the songs. So it's a lot of information and a beautiful record, great condition. I'm so happy to have it. Moving forward, we got this one is kind of a a compilation. It's called Music in Depth. It's also one of these F-35Ds on Mercury Records. Has Xavier Cugat, the Klebanoff, and his orchestra, Dave Carroll, George Barnes, Pete Regola, Quincy Jones plays Hot Saki. That ought to be interesting. So front and back. Another one of the Mercury F-35Bs. This is the Dave Carroll one, which obviously they took a couple tracks off of this, put it on that one, so some duplication, but that's okay. It's called All the World Dances, Dave Carroll and his orchestra. The first one and this one are in the plastic, but the rest are not. This one actually has the record outside. Here's the back. This is also a gatefold. I'm not going to open it up. But again, Mercury. Perfect Presence sound. And the last one. Again, another one of the Perfect Presence sounds. Stereo this time. I think the other room was hi-fi. Yeah, high fidelity. This one is stereo. This is Frederick Fennell conducts Cole Porter. This one is kind of neat. It even has here a diagram of how he had the orchestra set up. Piano, 2 pianos, conductor, 2 harps, violins on this side, violas on that side, woodwinds in the middle, percussion in the back here, timpani, 2 bass players, and then the trumpet, trombones, and tuba here. Kind of a weird configuration for an orchestra. And this is also a gatefold. Now this one goes a little bit more in depth in how the recording process goes. I've never heard one of these yet. I've been told though that fantastic sound. So that's why when I saw, again when I go to eBay I look up LOT, L-O-T, and then then I can reduce down to the genres that I want, whatever. But this was a lot of 4 of these F-35D on Mercury, and then the seller happened to be selling the Exotica 1970 separately, and so I said to sent him an email and I said, I'm interested in this record and this lot. Would you be willing to combine the shipping? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. But then the shipping became a problem, like I said, when for whatever reason. And when it came here, the address was correct, the postage was all correct, everything was fine on it. I had no idea why Warrensville, Pennsylvania was sending it back to Chicago. I know why Chicago was sending it to Warrensville, because they had to go there in order to get to New York, but for whatever reason they kept sending it back. So I'm just happy that it came, and I can't wait to listen to all these. And like I said, I will put a link for that program that I like, where I've discovered a lot of these artists in this particular genre. So, all right, thank you very much. I had a great time on my trip. I got a little sun, not a whole lot. Did a lot of driving, and so I'm happy to be back home. After a while you get tunnel vision and everything, so it's nice to sit and relax, and I'm going to listen to some records now. Alright, have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.